Good morning, y'all. Y'all don't forget that every day is a new day to start over. Something to think about. Um, I recently, I posted a video saying that I had MS. And I wanted to talk to y'all about that. I'm fixing to do my hair and my makeup. I should have done this afterwards. But I owned a beauty shop for almost 20 years. I kept, in the first stages that I know what was happening to me, I didn't know what was happening to me. I'd come home from work and I'd be so exhausted. And there was one time that I come in the front door and just collapsed on my knees. I was so exhausted I could not, I just couldn't walk. And I crawled on into my bedroom. And I got on the bed and I laid there. And my youngest daughter come home from work, school. She come home from school. And she hollered for me. And I just couldn't, I didn't have any energy. And I just couldn't holler back. And I'm like, I'm in here. And I was just exhausted. And she's like, Mom, what's wrong? You look pale. And I'm like, I don't know. I just got so tired. And I just crawled in here. She said, you crawled? I'm like, yeah. I said, I don't think I passed out. I just crawled to the bed. Well, she called her daddy. And he wanted me to go to the hospital. But by the time he had got there, I had checked my blood pressure, and it was like 90 over 40 something. I mean, it was really super duper low. And so I told him, I said, go get me a Coke. So he went and got me a Coke, and that seemed to, help me a little bit. Either that or I was just thinking it was helping me. But I got better. Went to work the next day, no problem. That was on I think a Tuesday. Wednesday, no problem. And then all of a sudden I was cutting this lady's hair, and I'm right-handed, and my right hand just went, I couldn't control it. It was nothing. I dropped my scissors on the floor, and I fell back into a dryer chair that was sitting there, and I guess I got to slurring my words, and everybody thought I was having a stroke. So I couldn't do anything. My daughter come up there and got me in my vehicle and took me to Houston. My husband was working a side job in Houston. Anyway, I got in his vehicle, and I'm like, I've got to use the bathroom. And he's like, he couldn't understand me because I was really slurring, and the whole side of my face was just like I had a stroke. I couldn't use my arm. I couldn't move my leg. And he's like, baby, we got to get you to the hospital. I said, well, I don't want to be, I don't want to pee on myself. So he went to his aunt's house. She lives right there off of 59 in Humble. And they helped me to the bathroom, set me down, and she says, she's had a stroke. She's had a stroke. Get her to Methodist. So he took me to Methodist, and they thought I had a stroke too. Well, after all these tests, everything come back negative. And they did a spinal tap and took some fluid from my spine. And these two doctors come in there. Dr. George Hutton, he was over the Maxine MS clinic there right beside Methodist Hospital. And a little uh, Korean guy, or doctor, was beside him. And he's like, we've done studies on this. This had been probably 3 or 4 hours. I was in that emergency room doing all these tests. And he said, you've got multiple sclerosis. And I said, what? What is that? I was thinking it was muscular dystrophy. And I got him confused. He says, multiple sclerosis is a disease that eats the myelin off of your nerves. So it mimics a stroke, and there's medication for it. It's injections. You can do it once a day or once a week. There's different kinds. And back then, I took Avonex. I injected it in my thigh on Saturday nights because it made me feel like I had the flu for a whole day. I would run fever, chills. Oh, it was just horrible. And I spent my whole Sunday every week in the bed, and it took me all day Monday to get back the strength, from the day before. I'm having a little bit of one right now. You can't tell. I can't remember what I was talking about. Hold on. Anyway, he says, this disease eats the myelin away from your nerves, so you will short out. And when you short out, you might have a pain, that shoots out your fingertips or the side of your leg or your toes, but it'll feel like you've been hit with, 110 electricity. And I'm like, what is this going to do to my business? I'm not going to be able to work. I've got to work. I can't live without working. So it took me for, I had a good outbreak of it. I say outbreak, attack, I guess I should say. I had to take off work, and the lady that was working in there with me, she just refused to do any of my customers, which I did acrylic nails, plus, shampoo and sets every Friday, and, my normal customers that came in. So I referred them down to another lady that I had worked with prior, and she would only open my beauty shop, her hours, which was like 10 to 2. It damaged my business a lot. But anyway, I continued having these little attacks. I would be fine 1 minute, and then all of a sudden I would just be out of it. And this went on for a couple of weeks. And I decided, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to be working. I've got to work. I cannot sit in this house. So I did. I opened my shop back up, and every now and then I would get so tired that I just could not raise my right hand to do anything. And I tried to hire another lady to come in and help me, but she was on drugs. I didn't know that. But anyway, she was a short version there. I say version. She was there, didn't really help me out any. Let me rephrase that. Anyway, Avonex was once a month injections in my leg, and it was an intramuscular needle, so it was pretty good size. I dealt with that until they come out with another one that was a subcutaneous needle. But it was every day. And the first time I tried it, I fell back on the bed. My heart was pounding. I felt like an elephant was sitting on me. I thought I was having a heart attack. And my daughter called the 800 number. It was like a private nurse that my insurance would pay for. And it was through Avanex. And she says, well, just take some deep breaths and it will be over shortly. And that scared the fire out of me. I threw that away. I'm like, I'm not taking something that's going to make me feel like I'm having a heart attack. So, a year or so later, I was in my beauty shop I was doing so good. I went back on the Avanex, and I went outside to have a smoke, took my coffee out there, and before I could light a cigarette, I'm like, I gotta pee. So I go back to the bathroom, and the next thing I know, I woke up in an ambulance. My bathroom was tiny, tiny. And I had passed out while on the toilet, and I hit the wall. And you could see a perfect face, my eyeballs, my mouth, my lipstick, everything on the wall. And then I slid down the wall while on the toilet. My body went to the floor and my head went that way. And my husband was a constable here, Precinct 1 in Polk County at the time. And he heard the ambulance being dispatched to my shop. So he got there before the ambulance did, found me in the bathroom. He picked me up and pulled my underwear up and my jeans and set me in a seat. And the ambulance got me, and I was out of it. I woke up and I'm like, what's going on? He's like, you passed out and we need to find out what's causing this. And I get to the hospital. They call my doctor, not my MS doctor, but my primary care. And he wanted to run tests on me and make sure I didn't hurt myself and all this stuff. I stayed in there all weekend. And just test after, I'm like, it's my MS. This is, he said that I could black out. And I have learned, when I start feeling like there's something there, there's something wrong, I won't drive. I'll stay home. After I lost my husband in 2005, I just went into a bad depression and I quit taking my medication. And I didn't care whether I lived or died. He was my soulmate. And I still miss him, and it's been almost 18 years. Anyway, I damaged the frontal lobe of my brain where the short-term memory is for not taking the medication. MS attacks your nerves, and it just does awful things to your body. And this one thing, it makes scars in your brain. That's why you have to get an MRI. And he says, you have damaged so much of your short-term memory, that's part of my brain, that you can tell me something and I might remember it and I might not. I might remember it a week from now, but sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So that's just a little bit of me having multiple sclerosis. I worked until 2008, and it had gotten to the point to where I shook so bad on my right side that I couldn't hold my scissors. I couldn't hold the brush to do nails. It really messed me up. I loved my beauty shop. I had so many customers. I mean, I had more customers than what I could do. So, I'm going to end it here. And there's a little thing that I want to read to y'all. Just for everybody that listens to this video, please pass me around to your friends, subscribe, and hit the little notification button so you'll know when my next video pops up. It helps my channel out. And at the end of the day, it's a time to reflect on the whole day, what you've done, and just remember, tomorrow starts a new one, a new day. So, God bless everybody, and take care.